Broadcasting from our studio in Boston, Solutions Review is proud to showcase HighGear in the Solution Spotlight, a unique online event for industry professionals.
I'm Doug Atkinson here at Solutions Review, and welcome to the Solution Spotlight featuring HighGear and focused on effectively managing work at scale in 2024. In an era where doing more with less has become the new norm, organizations across the globe are facing the twin challenges of navigating a tight, skilled labor market and the continuous pressure to enhance operational efficiency and outcomes. So today, we will take a deeper dive into HighGear's no-code workflow platform that enables businesses to not only meet but exceed their operational goals through streamlined processes, accelerated outcomes, and exceptional consistency, even with limited manpower. And joining us to walk you through the HighGear solution is Carl Casserly and Jeremy Grue, Sales Operation Manager and Sales Engineer. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us.
Well, thanks, Doug. I really appreciate being here.
Thanks, Doug. I'm happy to be here and excited to show HighGear.
Yeah, great. Well, we've been looking forward to it. I know there's a lot that you're going to walk through, and so I don't want to stand in the way, but I will set everybody's expectations that we're going to let Carl and Jeremy walk through a bit of an overview of HighGear, and also Jeremy's going to dig into a demonstration and really get into the nitty-gritty of how HighGear operates, which I think you'll find fascinating. So I'm going to get out of the way. Carl, I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'm going to let you take the first piece of this presentation.
Well, thank you, Doug, and welcome to everyone joining us for today's webinar on how to easily achieve digital transformation to improve your business operations. HighGear is a no-code workflow work management platform helping companies achieve operational excellence. We designed HighGear to make it easy for business users to configure how work is managed while providing leadership with operational visibility. Since 2004, HighGear has been serving commercial and government organizations around the world. Our customers cover a broad mix of highly complex and regulated industries. Companies deploy HighGear to solve a wide range of workflow use cases. What they all have in common is the need to operate efficiently and have real-time visibility into business operations. Let's talk about operational challenges organizations are concerned about. Business users and operational professionals often face workflow challenges illuminated by the following types of questions. Is your staff using email or spreadsheets to track core work activities or compliance requirements? Do you wonder about the status of key deliverables? Do team members have great faith that someone else must have taken care of the task? Do you have real-time data that enhances the success of your decision-making? Do business users have the capability to quickly adapt workflow to new requirements or regulatory changes? Is your staff delighted with their ability to customize the way they manage their day-to-day activities? These are the kinds of questions that discover operational pain teams are facing. Let's take a look at a few use cases where HighGear clients solve their workflow challenges. GH Tool & Mold is a custom manufacturer. They initially deployed HighGear to manage workflow processes that include employee onboarding, RFQs, maintenance, job management, engineering activities, and more. Elwood National Forge supplies steel components to the military, oil and gas, energy, and heavy industrial markets. Some of the key processes they manage with HighGear include estimating, quote generation, engineering and design, approvals, credit functions, and quality management activities. TC Energy is a supplier of energy within North America. They initially deployed HighGear for project management, regulatory commitments, approvals, reporting to regulatory agencies, and facility transitions. Eversource is a green energy supplier to 4 million customers across 3 states within the United States. They first deployed HighGear to manage multi-year construction contracts for the development of green energy facilities. Baillie Gifford is an investment management company based in the UK with over $283 billion of assets under management. HighGear is managing activities related to new client onboarding, existing client management, asset management, compliance, and due diligence activities. Within the federal and local government space, HighGear is managing a wide range of workflows, including communications, project management, quality management, audit, contract management, compliance, and many others. HighGear is deployed within a variety of Department of Defense organizations and other federal and local agencies. HighGear's clients are long tenured due to the fact that they can solve a wide range of workflow problems, achieve high user adoption rates, and gain significant operational efficiencies. Let's look at some of the benefits they are enjoying. Organizations that embrace digital transformation capture both efficiency and financial advantages. A study by Deloitte showed that companies that embrace digital transformation achieve 3x revenue growth compared to those that put off digital transformation investments. Executives have been cited as saying that the key benefits of a digital-first model include improved operational efficiency, and this makes me think about one client had cycle time decreased by 50% within a due diligence process, and their change resistors became change champions. Another item is faster time to market. And this reminds me of a time one of our clients said that management was they more easily delegated tasks downstream, which freed up their time for strategic thinking. They're able to launch a new product and generate a new revenue stream. Another item is meeting customer expectations. Every detail is fulfilled properly and on time for internal and external customers. And this is what we're hearing across the board. So, what is the impact to your organization if the competition digitally transforms their workflows while you do not? The benefits sound great, so how do we get digitally transformed? Let's talk about empowering business users versus relying solely on developers to provide workflow solutions. Despite a greater digital transformation, demand is higher than ever, yet there are fewer resources. So what do I mean by resources? On the supply side, we have a limited software engineering talent pool. As we like to joke, the birth rate is too low. But on the demand side, business units are demanding more automation, more orchestration, more collaboration, increasingly key to attracting and retaining top talent or even satisfactory talent. On the supply side, constrained IT budgets necessitate prioritization. On the demand side, C-suite priorities like customer-facing automation and mandatory regulatory requirements compete for those limited resources. So what options are there in the market to satisfy the workflow demand? The majority of enterprise-grade digital transformation tools are designed to be utilized by developers. HighGear's no-code solution meets the digital transformation demand by diversifying who can deliver workflow solutions. It takes the complexity out, enabling rapid and secure delivery of solutions. So HighGear results in more people delivering solutions faster. Let's look at the components of the HighGear platform which enable digital transformation. The intelligent orchestration engine is the meat of the HighGear solution. It will incorporate all the changes you make and orchestrate them through our smart security layer. Next, we'll talk about HighGear's Design Studio. The visual drag-and-drop designer empowers you to create your own configuration via forms, workflows, and rules that you envision. The designer provides flexibility in how you manage your business operations. HighGear's Teamwork Console. This provides a collaborative environment with permission options to allow teams and individuals to work together or separate based on the access you want them to have. Next, we have reporting. HighGear's dashboard capabilities enables users to configure analytics that provide real-time updates. And then there's auto distribution to push that info out and around the organization securely. HighGear's robust integration capabilities. HighGear provides no-code integrations with over 6,000 applications using our Zapier and Microsoft Power Platform connectors. As one example, business users have integrated HighGear with Salesforce in less than 40 minutes. You can integrate HighGear with over 190 AI solutions, including OpenAI's ChatGPT and Microsoft's suite of AI services. HighGear also provides robust, well-documented REST APIs. HighGear's built-in audit trail. The audit trail provides a complete record of changes to records and system configurations. This includes changes performed through an integration by a human or workflow automation. HighGear's visual workflow designer. HighGear provides a drag-and-drop visual workflow designer to easily configure your flows for routing, approvals, escalations, notifications, calculations, and other automated actions. We have ready-to-deploy templates which are fully configurable and provide rapid deployment. Then there's HighSafe. HighSafe stands for HighGear Secure Applications Forward Edge, and what this means is that you can easily and securely include external audiences within your workflow processes in a variety of ways. As one example, you can easily configure and deploy secure external portals to include your vendors, subcontractors, and your clients. Authentication options. Only authorized users will have access to the HighGear system. HighGear supports Active Directory, third-party plugin compatibility, SAML, and single sign-on. HighGear's data layer. Your data is encrypted in transit and at rest and is hosted within Microsoft Azure. HighGear can be self-hosted if that is your preference. Your IT department is going to be well pleased with HighGear's security framework. HighGear is a complete and secure application ready to be configured with your flows. We have worked hard over the past 20 years to make this platform easy so you can improve business operations and enhance your success. Okay, so now it's time to get into the HighGear application and see digital transformation come to life. Jeremy is going to implement a few steps of a simple workflow use case. In this example, management has asked for a solution to orchestrate and track the submission and evaluation of business cases. The current method is tracked within emails and spreadsheets, and that lacks accountability and visibility. Jeremy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Carl, and good morning, everyone. We're going to start this presentation off, and I'm just going to put my administrator hat on, and we're going to come up to our All Processes menu. This is where you can see all of the different work processes that you might have in your given HighGear system. We're going to create a new process and name it Business Case Request Process. And we're going to save that. For the sake of time, we're going to use our request template, form, and workflow to get us started here. So I've just added this into the process, and you can see here we have our request template form and the workflow, and we can see all of the fields and statuses that are associated with them. So let's just get right into the form. What I'm opening here is the HighGear Form Designer. This is where you create fields that will orchestrate all of the work that you do in your environment. So let's just start off by adding a new field, and we're going to call it Business Case Type. Then we're going to choose the field type. All of these come out of the box with HighGear, and in this example, we're just going to use a drop-down menu. Now, the field is going to be created in HighGear, and depending on the field that is created, you may have another window appear that prompts you for more information. So since we just selected a drop-down menu, it's going to ask us to add some more options to it. So we're going to add merger as an option, acquisition, and new product. And we're going to save that field. We're going to see it appear on the form here. And then we're going to add a second field, and we're going to name it cost. We're going to make it a numeric text box and add that to the form. So as this field is being created here, we're going to set both of these to be required because this information is necessary for the business case to be reviewed. And now all I'm doing here is clicking and dragging my different HighGear fields and placing these two new ones where I'd like them to be. So we're just going to give it a little bit more space up here. And now everything is looking good. So now we're going to save the form and we can get started on our workflow. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a request template that is already built out a first review stage for us here. So we're going to come in here and remove this exit node that ends the workflow. And we're going to add a decision node. So this is criteria that will define which path a piece of work will go in a given workflow. So in this case, we're going to say if approved and the business case type is a new product and value greater than $3 million. So now all I'm doing here is I'm going to set criteria that is going to use the fields in our HighGear system. So we're going to look up the business case type field, and if that is a new product, and now we're going to add another criteria line, and the cost is greater than 3 million. So if that is the case, we're going to add an action in here, and we're going to just drag this down to give us some more space. We're going to route to the product VP. So we're going to make the assignee our product VP, and let's give it a due date here. We're going to add 2 business days, and he'll have that amount of time to get the job done. So we filled out our first decision and action. Now, what we want to do next is fill in criteria for all the other business cases that might exist. So what I'm going to do here is copy this line, click back into this decision, and we're going to go back in here and we're going to just change this criteria to make it less than $3 million. And we're also going to copy this action, since all we're going to be doing is changing who it is being routed to. So in this case, we're just going to route it to the product team. And that's that. And the last thing we'll do here is set a decision for if the business case type equals acquisition or merger. So in this case here, we're going to fill in both of these criteria lines with the merger and acquisition field values, but instead of all of the criteria matching, we are going to switch it to any. And then we're going to route it to the finance team. And then we're going to give them a due date of, let's give them 3 business days. So one thing that I didn't do with these 2 pieces of logic were create logic that defines what happens when the task is completed. So what I'm going to do here, say if completed, the status equals completed. We're going to exit the process because there's no other work that needs to be done. Now, what if the due date is about to occur and the task hasn't been completed? Maybe we want to escalate it. So here, let's say if due date in 1 day, escalate priority and route to finance VP. So here, what we're going to do is select our due date field, and our operator, we'll change that to will occur. And we're going to say in 1 business day. And if the status is not completed, now this is where we're going to add our routing. So I accidentally put that in our decision line, but we're actually going to be routing to the finance VP in the action. And we'll just select the finance manager queue. And we'll overwrite the priority and make it high. And now what we'll do is we'll route this back into the decision. So now if this were to happen, the case will be routed to the finance manager, the priority will be escalated, and the task will now be once again waiting to be completed. So now we've just created our workflow. And now what we're going to do is come over to our request template dashboard, and we're going to suit this thing up and get it in the position to show all our data. So in our list criteria here, we're going to change the process name and make sure that it contains the word business case in it. And now what I'm going to do is create a new record, just so we can see some data appear in our dashboard. So we're going to make this a merger with company XYZ. And now you can see that our dashboard is starting to fill up with some information. Now, of course, there's going to be other things that we want to see on here. So let's add a column chart. And we'll give it a name. Let's call it business cases by type. And what we're going to be grouping here is the business case type once again. And let's sum up the value of each of the different business cases that exist. So you can see here a preview of the dashboard has been generated. Since we only have 1 record in here, we only have this 1 line. But all we're going to do here is select OK. And now our dashboard has been updated with this new chart. The next thing I'll do is add a new column to our dashboard list. So I'm going to right click into the list, and let's add the cost field to it. Now I'm just going to resize our columns here. And maybe I want the cost column to show up as a certain color if the value of the business case is a certain amount. So let's just come into our conditional formatting, and we'll say if the cost is greater than, let's say, $2 million, we want the background of our tile to be orange with black text. So you can see here we've added our conditional formatting rule, and the cost value has been updated as a result of it. And now the last thing that we have to do is just give our dashboard a name. We'll call it business case overview. Adding this second sample record here, we'll see that our dashboard updates with more information. So release new product in Q1 2025. And let's just give it a cost. So the last thing I'm going to do here, you can see that the assignee of both of these tasks is Sam Taub. So I'm going to log out of my account, and we're just going to simulate logging in as Sam and approving one of these business cases. So we've logged in as Sam here. You can see he has a few tasks in his dashboard, but both of the new business cases have landed in his queue to be completed. You can see here there's one that has a status of awaiting approval, which is a merger. And all we'll do here is come down and give our decision. And now you can see that his dashboard has been updated. The task is no longer there because it's not in his queue to be completed. So I'll sign out of Sam. And now moving on in the demo, I'm just going to show a few more examples of dashboards and workflows that are currently being used by clients, as well as some templates that can be used to get you started in HighGear.
Yeah, while Jeremy's turning over to that, the example Jeremy just showed, it's the level of effort versus coding. It's dramatically less, it's a lot easier, and the who can do it is one of the value props. Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy, sorry.
So I've just moved over to our example environment here, and the dashboard we're seeing here is suited for someone who's a high-level executive in a company. Maybe they want to see an overview of all the work that is taking place. You can see here that all of the work that is taking place, you can see that it's all aggregated here. So Bob knows how much each of the departments have on their shoulders. You can also see all of the tasks that are past due, ones that have an issue, approvals that are taking place, and so forth. And we'll just move over to our second dashboard here. And this is capturing the financial impact of different business initiatives that are taking place. So you can see here it's capturing information such as high value, low risk initiatives. It's capturing the highest value initiative, the lowest one, and so forth. And then the final dashboard that I'll show in this specific environment is showing the details of these business initiatives. So you can see here, if we come down to our dashboard list, I'm just going to expand one of these projects. You can see HighGear allows you to create subtasks that are associated with projects. So maybe one project has 10 things that need to be completed in order for the project to close. You can house all of those tasks in a hierarchical order. If we click into one of these records, you can see here, this is our business initiative analysis form. And all these fields are doing are capturing information related to the initiative. And this information is used in the HighGear workflow, and different tasks are created as a result of these different fields being filled out. If we move over to this analysis tab, this is just gathering all the information that was submitted by people who were responsible for reviewing the initiative. So you can see here, 7 people recommended it, whereas 0 did not recommend it. And you can see all the other information related to it as well. Now I'll leave this dashboard and I'm going to tab over to a manufacturing focused environment. So you can see here, this is a quote request dashboard that some of our clients use that captures the status of different quotes that come into their system, all the way from pre-production through shipping and eventually customer acceptance. A second dashboard here is showing SLA trends related to this quote request process. HighGear has the ability to capture information related to if a project was completed on time, all the way down to the specific stages of that project. So you can see even at a high level, all the way down to the specific stages, we can see was the SLA met in general, and how long are these specific stages taking to complete. And then the last dashboard I'll show in this manufacturing environment has to do with the quote profitability. So here, anyone in the company who needs this information can see information such as the quote gross profit, as well as other information related to the quote cost. So they'll easily be able to see if a job is worth it to complete or not. So the workflow I'm showing on the screen now is actually our technical quote generation workflow that's associated with the dashboards that I just showed. You can see here that the process is tracked end to end, all the way from receiving the quote request from Salesforce or wherever the request may be submitted at, all the way through planning, engineering, supply chain, until the process finally ends and the piece is manufactured and you're sending the quote data back to Salesforce. So now I'll be moving over to our financial services environment, and the dashboard that you're looking at here is showing onboarding tasks for different clients for this institution. You can see here in the MDE construction onboarding project, we have multiple sub-projects in them that have tasks within them that need to be completed. So in this case, if the post-funding part of this onboarding project were to be completed, these 4 tasks had to be completed for that to occur. And then just the last dashboard that we can show here, just more financial information that is related to these new clients. So you can see that it's just capturing information related to their assets under management. In this workflow here, this is an example of a state data call workflow. So this process just captures requests that a regulatory agency might have for a specific organization, and it orchestrates all the work so that departments can get their jobs done and ultimately fulfill that requirement in a timely and accurate manner. And with that, I believe that brings me to the end of my presentation. So I'll hand it back over for questions.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Jeremy. A few questions. Carl, I'm curious, what roles typically within an organization implement workflow solutions?
Yeah, great question. So in larger organizations, you're often going to be looking towards your business analysts who traditionally take requirements, but with a tool like this, they could actually fulfill them. And then in your departments, whether you're a large or small company, I'm thinking about one small manufacturer we have, their procurement officer was actually process savvy thinker and is actually implementing solutions. So it's really about the person. Are they somebody who could whiteboard process and have that kind of discussion and comfortable with configuring solutions? They'll do great in this tool.
And I mean, and that's essentially, the folks that are starting to lead the digital transformation efforts within an organization. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jeremy and I are examples. Jeremy's a former marketing professional, and I started here as an accountant and started using the tool. And so that's the idea. We've really made this for business users so that we can empower them to transform the organization.
Yeah, I love. I was noticing your career path, and I love the fact that you've been at HighGear for north of 15 years, but also that you've evolved as well within the organization, which is very interesting. Another question that I would have is with regard to portals, and you have lots of different types of users. I mean, how do you build portals within the system for external users, subcontractors, vendors, et cetera?
Yeah, hey Jeremy, let's take a look. And while you're setting that up, Jeremy, I'll I'll give some context to it. So HighGear is going to enable you to easily configure portals, and they're simple, out of the box, in maybe 30 to 60 minutes to get it going. And also we can integrate, well, not integrate, but we can leverage APIs to develop custom portals as well, where the UI is well tailored. Okay, so this is an example of a portal that a developer could make, right? This is all HighGear data, it's live. And then we want to flip over to an example of what we call a built-in portal that's configurable. You know, a nice simple portal, you could stand this up quickly for a vendor, for a client, present them data securely. You have a choice of providing them visualizations and even other options to submit something. So Jeremy, could you click the green button there for them to submit? So you give them options here to launch something as well as edit existing items.
It's an amazing time for organizations to be able to get their hands on high-powered workflow tools like HighGear. I'm curious about mobile options. So as you would expect, everything gets extended to the edge. What are the HighGear mobile? What is the HighGear mobile option?
Yeah, Jeremy, let's flip over there. HighGear comes with HighGear Mobile and no install required. It's just going to work. And you can deploy this for users who are perhaps out in the field, or maybe you're sitting in the conference room and an idea comes to you and you want to capture it. And you can update your tasks. You get access to all your dashboards, contacts, everything's in there.
Yeah, nice. The question I would have as well with regard to this sort of thing is integrations, right? So there are obviously, everybody has something. Organizations are tremendously complex these days with a variety of different solutions. I mean, where does it fit in, say, with Microsoft, for instance?
Yeah, we have an out-of-the-box connector with Microsoft Power Platform that's going to give you integration capability, no-code integration capabilities with the suite of Microsoft products. And Jeremy, let's pull up one of our examples there with the Power Platform. So we get a lot of customers that say, look, you know, I've got a VP who's used to using Teams. He's not going to log into HighGear, but I want to present him information, maybe caption or approval. So that's a common use case, and we've got one of those here. So Jeremy, I'll let you take it from here.
So what I'm doing here is I'm filling out an approval request form, and let's just fill this out here. So continue vetting workflow automation solutions. And I'll fill this out, and all the information that is submitted in this form will be presented in an adaptive card in Microsoft Teams. And this used Power Automate to push that information from HighGear into Power Automate or into Microsoft Teams. And we'll see here in a second that this will appear. So you can see we have a new approval request from Marina Stevenson, and all the information related to the request is on this adaptive card. I can give my approval decision and submit it. So thanks for your response. And if we come back over into HighGear, that approval decision will be reflected in the HighGear task.
So it may have happened in Teams, orchestrated by HighGear, but the HighGear audit trail is going to capture that history, regardless of whether it was external or done within the system.
So you can see here, the web service user for Microsoft Power Platform was the individual who made the change. And additionally, you can see all of the other changes that were made prior to that occurring.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Hey, Carl, I know you've been there at HighGear for a while, and I know HighGear's been evolving and doing this for a while. And there, you go to the website, there's lots of different elements, and we would encourage everybody who might be watching this to reach out and engage. There's really no better way to find out how your particular instance is going to be benefited by a particular solution than just reaching out and engaging. It's usually a very positive experience, and also one that it can be illuminating, to say the least, when you start to realize all the ways that you can take advantage of this. And there's, on the site, I know there's a bunch of resources, a bunch of support, obviously a bunch of information about the platform. But one of the things I wanted to drill in on is services. And Carl, I'll ask you. I mean, somebody says, yeah, I need to be working on digital transformation. I know that, and we've started to think about it a lot. But we don't necessarily know everything we should know. How does HighGear support somebody's digital transformation journey?
Sure. We have a lot of educational resources for sure, whether it's online learning management system and in person and training. But when it comes down to getting it implemented and getting things going and digitally transforming, what I see the most, some clients say, look, I appreciate it that we can manage this, but we're too busy. Can you do it for us? So our professional services team will stand up your solutions and hand you the keys. Other times we have a collaborative, hybrid approach where we will project manage your team as they implement the solution, right? So they're guided by someone with the experience, and then they're learning how to do it on their own. And then there have been some clients that say, I don't need your professional services, just give me the instructions and I'll go, and they'll self-implement. So those are the three common ways we get things done.
Yeah, again, it's an amazing time, and certainly for people who are looking at an event like this, we often consider this a gateway drug to the real deal solutions. But honestly, I mean, what we're seeing at Solutions Review is that you just can't be standing still anymore. Carl, I'm curious to get your take on everything we're seeing right now with regard to AI and how HighGear is starting to think about that, because it seems like that is almost going to demand digital transformation of an organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be rolling out some nice AI surprises later this year. I'll get in trouble if I mention too much about it right now.
Don't do that.
But we also have always believed in integration with best of breed in any kind of technology. And that's why we mentioned earlier, you can already leverage HighGear with over 190 AI solutions, right? And that's even no code integrations. And so we've done things like Microsoft sentiment analysis, right? So HighGear is capturing information, and maybe it comes in from your customer, right? And then we send that over into AI sentiment service, and it scores it. And it's going to say if your customer is happy, neutral, or upset, and then presents that data back into HighGear. And based on that result, we might route that item to the Tiger team, right? If they're mad, or normal resources if they're okay. So yeah, you can do all kinds of great things with HighGear and AI today.
So walk me through the process for someone who might be seeing this and saying, you know what, I am going to get in touch with these guys and see what we can leverage in terms of speeding along our evolution in their organization.
Sure. Yeah.
How does it work? I know you can schedule a demo. You can certainly engage in any other way, but what does an engagement begin to look like, I guess is what I'm really asking. What are they signing up for when they schedule that demo?
Yep, it's a very consultative method here. We have to figure out, is there a fit? We don't want to waste anybody's time. And so we're looking to understand, well, what are the operational pains? What are your goals and objectives? And then we start to see how that will fit with HighGear or not, right? And if it does, we move forward. Oftentimes we'll either demonstrate relevant templates or configure a proof of concept that really suits them using their language, their fields, their forms, their workflows. And that really helps a lot of people see how their operations would fit into a system like this.
Yeah, this has been fascinating. I'm curious, before we sign off here, if you have any advice, both of you guys. I mean, as you think about folks who might be, looking for a little way to organize themselves at the beginning of the year here, and really start to begin the process. How should they be thinking about it as they start to organize themselves internally?
Well, sometimes we find people that are having a hard time getting started, and they don't know what solution to get. But you've really got to think about, what are your competitors doing? Are they digitally transforming? Are they going to capture the advantages before you, right? This kind of helps motivate you to get started. The other part, internally, look at your employees. Employees want the best solutions. They want an easy way to manage work. They want things that help surface insights into the work that they're managing. And that's rewarding. And so, it's interesting. You're actually going to help attract and retain key talent when you've got the right solutions in place.
Yeah, great. Jeremy, I'm curious, do you have any final thoughts with regard to how people should be thinking about approaching workflow transformation?
Yeah, I would just say, don't be afraid of it. The future's here, and, things like no-code solutions put the power in business users' hands, and, takes that heavy weight off of IT's shoulders that, so many companies desperately need. So, if you're thinking about a no-code solution, whether it's workflow automation or not, at the end of the day, I think, just thinking about your employees and the potential that you give them by giving them that power, it can really push your organization forward.
Well, again, my message is always, if you're standing still, you're falling behind. So you really need to be engaging with top solutions like HighGear and understanding how you can move your organization into the next generation of efficiency for not only operational benefits, but for organizational benefits as well. I think Jeremy's point's an excellent one. You really want to have the best possible tools for your workforce, and you want to enable them to be as efficient as possible, and ultimately to have as much work satisfaction at what they're doing. So thanks very much, gentlemen. This has been great. Very much appreciated. And best of luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you so much, Doug.
Thank you.
So there you have it. Another solution in our spotlight. We want to thank Carl and Jeremy for that presentation, and we appreciate your attendance as well. Until next time, I'm Doug Atkinson here at Solutions Review. Thanks for watching.